Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that we're watching. So if that sounds like something you will enjoy, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we're reacting to episode 17 of season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. A few people have been incessantly telling me that I have been pronouncing it wrong. It is what it is. I think pronunciations are so minor so long as you know what I'm talking about that it kind of doesn't need to be constantly brought up time and time again. I understand that like people are so like passionate about these shows and they're like, oh, pronunciations are the be all or end all, but I've said numerous times I am deaf in my left ear. I am diagnosed deaf in my left ear, so it is a disability. I do struggle. I also don't speak Japanese. It's not my native language. So again, there's also that added difficulty. Not to mention, as long as you know who I'm talking about, I think we're good. I know I've probably been saying the title of the name incorrectly, but everyone I know also refers to it as Jujutsu Kaisen rather than Jujutsu Kaisen, which kind of just doesn't flow off of my tongue as easily. This also may just be a little bit of a rough video because I haven't actually filmed in 2 weeks for Jujutsu Kaisen and Witch Hat Atelier because I bulk filmed before I went away to London. So I still had footage last weekend, so this is the first time I'm actually filming in like 2 weeks. So my brain is a little bit scattered, especially the humidity is killing me in the UK right now. If you hear the fan, it is literally here. You can just see it slightly at the bottom of the camera. I have it blasting onto me because I can't cope. I have 2 big lights, my PC running, my camera filming. It gets very, very warm in here very, very fast. So if my brain starts to get a bit mushy, we're going to blame it on the heat. It is what it is. Last episode, we learned that Panda is not a panda, but is technically classified as a cursed corpse, but he also isn't a cursed corpse because unlike most cursed corpses that can only function independently, Panda has emotions and cognitive abilities that allow him to make his own decisions. So Panda is kind of like a mutated cursed corpse. He's like an advanced version, but because of how he came into being, he's still technically classified as one. We had that little bonding moment with Mekimura. Again, another pronunciation I'm going to struggle with. I know that that's not actually his name because that's just what the robot is referred to, but there is a person controlling the robot. We had a bit of their backstory and how they are struggling because of the talent they were born with, that it's caused them this untold pain and suffering, and they get angry that someone like Panda gets to walk around and exist in this world, whereas he is just struggling to survive. I felt really sorry for him, but I did love that they kind of had like a moment of connection where Panda was reaching out to them, basically saying that if you need help and support, I will be there for you. And it feels very much like Panda and Makimura, and then we have Todo and Itadori. They're very much the embodiments of this exchange event, in that the exchange event is supposed to bring them together. Yes, it's a competition, but it's supposed to connect them and make them see the similarities in each other. And we are seeing that with some of the characters. I wonder then if we're going to see that between Maki and Miwa, because they were having a bit of a showdown, but we haven't really seen how that plays out. But I feel like maybe they're able to find similar common ground and offer each other kind of support or understanding as to one another's situation. But without further ado, we're going to jump into episode 17. I'm very excited to see more of the exchange event, but also hopefully find out more about Ghetto, because again, Ghetto was talking about how he wants to get the remaining fingers in the school to try and tempt Schooner into joining their cause. But then Gojo brought up the idea that there is somebody that's maybe a traitor that's passing on information to curse users that are working to overthrow humanity. But you know, we will see as we go on, I guess. Looking forward to learning as much as I can. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Maki? あんなんただの雑魚よ。呪いも見えない。呪具振り回すだけの一般人。万年4級。なんで呪術師やってんのって感じ。休憩終わり。はーい。そっか。ちょっと安心。
I feel like she's gonna realize it's not that easy. Of course she's gonna think Maki isn't worthy. Oh! Oh, May, what have you done? You had me were underestimating Maki, but I feel like that's a running theme, that Maki gets constantly underestimated only to prove everyone wrong. Because she mentioned that her own family didn't see her as capable of being a jujutsu sorcerer, so it's very much an on-trend thing. Ooh.
フルオート反射で迎撃する。両足が展開時のポイントから離れると解除される。さらに正面の敵に特化した抜刀は刀身を呪力で覆い、鞘の中で加速させる。新影流最速の技。これで決めるなんて考えるな。まずは全力で隙を作る。いい合いか。しかも何か種があるな。
Oh my god, this is so cool.
私ってよりは呪具を払って隙を作りたいんだろう。とくれん。リーチのアドバンテージをここで捨てるの？
She's like, I don't need it.
アンキ、勘がいい。デコイ玉を潰しに来た。
Oh lord.
両足離れた。でも大丈夫。一度離れて。
This is a bad matchup.
はいき、器用な人。
She's very intuitive. That's the word I'm looking for.
立ち取り。返して。
She's like, I need that. That's mine.
面白い子じゃないか。さっさと2級にでも上げてやればいいのに。
僕もそう思ってるんだけどさ。全員家が邪魔してるくさいんだよね。素直に手のひら返して認めてやりゃいいのにさ。
That's so sad.
理解できないな。
相変わらずの主戦度ね。それよりさっきからよく U 字周りの映像を切れるね。
動物は気まぐれだからね。
So I'm presuming the clan they're referring to is her family clan, because again, there was that conversation she was having with Nobara where she talks about how her own family didn't think she was capable of becoming a jujutsu sorcerer, that she was seen as this letdown because she can't see curses. So the way I remember it being explained was that Maki and Mai, as twins, Mai inherited the curse technique but has like low levels of curse energy, but then Maki didn't inherit anything. She has no cursed energy. She can't use anything to do with cursed energy or curses. So Maki was talking about how her family sort of looked down on her because she's not able to actually utilize any cursed energy or cursed abilities because she, for whatever reason, didn't inherit it, whereas Mai does inherit it. But it seems like the clan is very against Maki and her lack of having cursed energy or being able to use it because she didn't inherit anything. So obviously we know that techniques are granted at birth, that these talents are something you are born with, but not every sorcerer has them. If this is a family where like that technique has been passed down from generation to generation to generation, so I can maybe imagine that if Maki and Mai are children of the leaders of the clan, there is a disappointment and almost this idea that they failed because their children haven't had the power that they expected them to have, that maybe they're not fulfilling the expectations of what it means to be the heir to this clan. I'm not sure, but there's the mention of her family, and then the fact that even Gojo's like, you know, we want to bump her up, but her family are kind of getting in the way. They're essentially not allowing us to do that. And then there was sort of this brief interaction. I can't remember what episode it was, but there was the mention that being a woman as a jujitsu sorcerer is a lot harder, that there's almost this perhaps expectation for women to maybe not become jujitsu sorcerers. Maybe it seemed more as like a male dominated occupation, but there was this mention that it's harder to be taken seriously as a jujitsu sorcerer as a woman. So I feel like maybe that's something that's going to come into effect, is that there's almost this like gender bias, but we're going to maybe learn more about why Maki's family are so sort of resentful of her. We know that she defied them. We know that she decided that she was going to become a jujutsu sorcerer and prove them all wrong. And I feel like there's this running theme that she's constantly looked down on as being weak and ineffectual because of her lack of curse energy, because she doesn't have any. We see that with May basically saying that her sister's weak, that her sister isn't to be taken seriously as a threat. Only for Miwo to learn that that is just not the truth at all. That's so incredibly wrong. So I feel like Maki's constantly underestimated. The reason she's become a jujitsu sorcerer, we were already told, is because she wants to prove her family wrong. But I just really want to know more about that dynamic, about why her family looked down on her. Is it because there's such pressure for these talents to be passed on to their offspring? Who knows?
資格を共有するのは疲れるし、
本当かな。ぶっちゃけメイさんってどっち側？
私は金の味方だよ。金に換えられないものに価値はないからね。何せ金に換えられないんだから。
Okay, fair.
いくら積んだんだか。何を企んでるか知らないけど、もう簡単にどうこうされる有事じゃないんだよ。
Oh, you've made sure of that, Gojo.
お、動いたね。
エリア内に放たれた呪霊は呪符が貼られており、呪霊消失と同時に対になっている観覧席の呪符も消滅します。
Okay, which is what we just saw in the
事前
background.
に記録した呪力によって消滅反応が異なります。東京校が払った場合には赤色、京都校が払った場合には青色に燃えます。
Okay, so a Tokyo school just burned
記録
one.
外の消滅反応も赤色になります。
一対一か。
Okay.
みんなゲームに興味なさすぎじゃない？
なんで仲良くできないのかしら。
So that's one curse extinguished by the Tokyo school.
ちなみに払ったのはパンダくんです。
Hey, let's go, Panda!
降りてこいよ、クソ魔女。さっきから何度も降りてるじゃん。さっさと捕まえてみろよ。一段。
Ooh.
私が浮くほどの重力の風、砂利とか枝が混ざるとクソ痛い。切り抜くと肉えぐられるわね。
Whoa!
よくも私の高尊顔を。
You tell her to come
顔の
down.
傷も男なら勲章、女なら欠点だもんね。
Oh, we're seeing a lot of the gender dynamics
呪
here.
術師が実力主義だと思ってる。
This expectation that what flies for men doesn't fly for women.
女はね、実力があっても可愛くなければ舐められる。当然、可愛くっても実力がなければ舐められる。
There's no winning.
女の呪術師が求められるのは実力じゃないの。完璧なの。
But they don't expect that of men.
舞ちゃんはそれ以上の理不尽と戦ってるの。
てめえがめんどくせえのは分かったよ。
So what's May fighting against? The fact that her sister doesn't have the curse energy and that she has the technique, so she feels that family pressure put on her shoulders.
攻めきれない一番の理由。犬巻くん。
呪言は言霊。音に呪力を乗せるわけだから、こちらも耳から脳にかけてを呪力で守ればいい。呪言は対呪霊に特化した術式なんだ。さっきも言ったが、術師にとっては来ると分かっていればそこまで怖いものじゃ。
But if you don't know it's
逆
coming,
に言え
oh,
ば、 来るか来ないかわからないと延々と気を
They're
散らされる。
constantly looking out for him, like,
ただで
where
さ
is
え頭の
he?
内側を守るなんて慣れてないのに、いてもいなくてもやらない。
I mean, true.
舞
He's a
ちゃんに
menacing
求められてる
presence.
のは完璧なんて生優しいもんじゃない。エリート呪術師の家系、御三家の一つ、全員家。そこでは完璧なんて当たり前。全員家送電の術式を引き継い
So
で
it
いる
is a
人。
hereditary
それ以外は
technique.
落語者として術師人生をスタートする。
Right.
その中でも女はスタートラインにすら立たせてもらえないこともあるの。
Oh, so it's very
全員家あらずんば
patriarchal.
呪術師にあらずんば人にあらず。そんな可愛げのかけらのない家に一生仕えて蔑まれて生きる。私たちが当然のように享受している環境を手にするのに、舞ちゃんたちがどれだけ苦労しているか。
That's so fucked, but she's so right. She's basically saying to be a jujitsu sorcerer as a woman, you have to be perfect. But to achieve perfection is far easier than what Mai and Maki have had to go through in being from one of the three major clans. So essentially, if they don't meet the demand of inheriting this hereditary technique, they're seen as failures. But not just that, women aren't accepted as being a jujitsu sorcerer. They're not allowed to be. So they have this starting line where, like, if you inherit this and you become a jujitsu sorcerer, you're a success. But if you're born a woman, automatically you're a failure in the clan's eyes because you're never going to achieve what they want you to achieve because they've just said that women are essentially seen as irrelevant. What they're saying is her clan are prioritizing boys. They're prioritizing not only the hereditary passing down of the technique, but they're expecting it to be given to boys, for boys to then pave the way of becoming jujitsu sorcerers, of having this technique and bringing prestige to the clan. That's the only way they can gain success. But you could be a woman born with this technique, but you're not allowed to be a jujitsu sorcerer. So you're automatically seen as failure. You're not treated with respect. And then I imagine what May's gone through is 10 times worse for someone like Maki, who doesn't have any of these abilities, especially if this hereditary technique is given such priority, such status and respect. To be born with nothing, no ability, must make things 10 times worse. I feel sorry for May and Maki, but what confuses me is why they're on such opposing sides. What's caused their relationship to fracture? Surely they should be both supporting each other if they've both undergone this horrendous treatment from their family, if they're treated as not being worth respect or acknowledgement because of them being women in this clan, of them not being seen as even having a place on the starting line. I don't get why they're not more connected, why their relationship isn't stronger, which means maybe it was at some point, but something has happened that's caused them to go separate ways. Maybe they have different ideas of what their life should be like, and that's maybe caused a divide between each other. I'm not entirely sure because May constantly refers to Maki as weak and somebody that's just not worth taking seriously, which Maki's had to deal with her whole life, but May's also had to deal with that her whole life, unless May has entrenched the family beliefs more strongly than Maki has. But then why is May training to be a jujitsu sorcerer if she believes that she shouldn't be because she's a woman? I am glad that we're getting a lot more context into the pressure that Maki and May feel, that women aren't treated with the same regard as men in being jujitsu sorcerers. I'm already seeing that expectation where she's saying, you know, even if you're cute, it's not enough. You also have to be strong, but not just that, you also have to be perfect. Whereas men constantly get away with essentially half-assing things. They don't have to achieve anywhere near as much as women because the expectations are lower. So, you know, they're saying again about the beauty standards. A scar on the face is a badge of honor, but only to men. In women, it's a flaw. So men would see it as something to disregard a woman over. So it's this inherent patriarchal expectation that's been set on these women that they find even in becoming jujutsu sorcerers, they can't escape from it. It's always there. It's pervading the very nature of the organization they've gone into. But then we're also seeing the extremity as well with certain clans where we have a major clan that believes that women shouldn't even become jujutsu sorcerers, that they should just be written off and ignored, that they're automatically a failure for the mere fact of being born a girl. So she is bringing up the idea that whilst we have these expectations put on us at the school, these expectations pale in comparison to what May and by extension Maki have had to grow up dealing with. But that also makes sense as to why the family is actively holding Maki back from progressing, because they don't even want women to become sorcerers in the first place. So why are they going to allow her to become this powerful, renowned sorcerer when they don't believe that women should even be in that position in the first place? So yeah, they're actively limiting and restricting her because of their own toxic beliefs that women should maybe fall into a domesticated role rather than a warrior one. Essentially, they have this idea of what gender roles are, that men are the warriors, men are the strong ones, they are the sorcerers, and women are essentially those that do the cooking, cleaning, child rearing, and also possibly the breeding. So even if a woman is born with the curse technique, this desirable hereditary trait, they're probably only seen as worthy in that they're able to pass it down, rather than them becoming a sorcerer in their own right. They're essentially just seen as a breeding machine that they can continue to have children, pass that trait on to the next generation in the hope that it goes to a boy. We don't actually know what's caused the rift between the two sisters. We know that Maki wanted to become a jujutsu sorcerer in order to essentially prove her clan wrong, that women are just as strong and powerful as the men. That just because she doesn't have any cursed energy doesn't mean that she's not capable of being a strong warrior. She doesn't want to fall into this domesticated role. We don't know why May has gone on to become one. We don't know if maybe she feels like she had to because Maki did, or whether she has a similar philosophy that she also needs to prove her family wrong, or whether there's this expectation that she needs to hone her technique. But something has caused a rift that has led to them both going to different schools. Hopefully we'll learn about that a little bit more.
呪いを仲間だと勘違いできる頭でよく考えたら
うるせえよ。不幸なら何しても許されんのかよ。じゃあ何か
Everyone suffered to some degree.
人間が後ろ指刺されりゃ満足か。そうやって沙織ちゃんはどんな生い立ちだろうと私はあいつが気に食わねえ。同じ生い立ちでも私はマキさんが大好きだ。てめえらこそこれから乗ろうとしてるバカがどんな人間か少しは考えたことあんのかよ。完璧も理不尽も答える義務がどこにある。てめえの人生は仕事か。
Oh,
かんざし
I love that she's like, yeah, May has suffered, but she's not the only one. So why should she get a free pass to do whatever she wants when we've all gone through misfortune? Ooh. Look at her go! She's like, if you're not gonna come down, I'm gonna go up there.
コードを落としたってそれじゃ届かないでしょ。
Oh, she's like, watch
い
me.
や届いたわよ。これで
I was gonna say, she got something off her
私の
broom.
ほうきの枝
お
さっきかすめたのね。
That's all she needs.
男がどうとか女がどうとか知ったこっちゃねえんだよ。てめえらだけで勝手にやってろ。私は綺麗におしゃれしてる私が大好きだ。
Fair.
強くあろうとする私が大好きだ。 私は藤崎野原なんだよ。
She's like, it doesn't apply to me because I'm awesome. I can understand both perspectives. It's Squeaky Hammer! Oh my god. May's come out to play.
有効射程ギリギリ。
Oh my god, sharpshooter.
よかった。当たって。
This is such a fascinating episode for me. Like the whole gender dynamics, but then you also have Nobara that's like, I don't give a fuck about any of this.
大丈夫、ゴム弾よ。それよりさっきの光、アルティメットキャノンよね。でもメカ丸と連絡が取れないの。あの大技を出すほど追い詰められてこれなら負け濃厚。多分パンダが戻ってくるわ。そこを離れて上からみんなをサポートして。あなたがいないと困るわ。
舞ちゃん、私ね。
いいのよ、ママ。わかってる。
This is such a softer side to May.
呼ばねえの？別に私は2対1でもいいぜ。
楽しみ方っていろいろあるでしょ。みんなでボコボコにするより一人で楽しみたいの。あんたは
お姉ちゃんって呼べよ、妹。
あんたマキさんのことどう思う？
どう答えても角立ちそう。とても素敵な女性かと。
あ？
He's like, I have to play carefully here.
あ、そっち？よかった。正直、呪術云々はまだよくわかんねえけど、喧嘩は超強い。
Incredibly strong.
歩き方でもうやばい。
マキさん4級なの。家が面倒な術師の家系でね。セルフ感動みたいに出ていったマキさんの昇級邪魔してんのよ。
Oh, so she like fully cut herself off. She was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out.
一度否定したものを認められないのよ。バカだから。
でも交流会で活躍してマキの名前がある程度広まれば、そういう嫌がらせも難しくなるよな。
そのためにまずは団体戦で勝つ。
Oh, what bastards.
もう一遍死ぬ気でやんなさい。
So they're essentially like, oh, she cut herself off from us, so fuck her. We're gonna make everything more difficult.
余計なこと考えてんじゃねえよ。
何？
I feel so sorry for both these girls.
視覚に入ったからなんだっつうのよ。私から距離取るとかバカじゃない。
Oh my god.
分かってた。マキには私にはない才能がある。
聞いたか、扇の娘の話。片方は術式どころか呪いも見えんらしい。やはり双子は強調か。
Oh, so they were seen as a bad omen.
嫡男の給仕など目も当てられんだろう。
舞、どうしたんだよ。早くしろよ。やだ。なんだよ。遅れたらまた怒られるぞ。いるもん。また、仕方ねえな。ほら、目つぶってろ。
Oh, it's because she can't see them, but she still wants to help her sister who can.
昔から不安なんてないみたいに。
But they were really close. What happened?
あんたが大嫌いだった。
家を出るか。
Is it because she left?
雑用係は足りてんだろ。心配しなくてもそのうち戻ってくるさ、ご当主様。
なぜ戻る？
私が全員家当主。
What an icon.
ならばこちらも相応の試練を与えようぞ。
勝手にしろよ。
前にもな。
So it's not just her that will be punished, it's May as well.
嘘つき。
Oh, these poor girls. So May could have stayed, but she would have suffered more because of Maki's decision to leave. So it made no difference. She probably had a better life leaving than she did staying. So she kind of was forced because of Maki's decision to go.
6発撃ったな。リロードはさせねえ。あんたなんか。
I don't think she actually hates her.
だから初恋も術式も
My first
あ
love?
んたに教えたことはない。構築術式、己の呪力をもとに物質をゼロから構築する。領域展開における結界内での消毒領域の具現化とは異なり、構築術式で一度生成された物質は術式終了後も消えることはない。それゆえに呪力消費が激しく、体への負荷が大きい。前には一日一発の弾丸を作るのが限界。わかりやすく弾数でブラフを張るためのリボルバー。
Oh.
私の
So this is the real one.
素手で触るもんじゃねえな。
She's a fucking badass. Oh my god.
マキには私にはない才能がある。
And she can't do another bullet.
ある意味逆の転用呪縛。本来術式を持って生まれるはずだったあんた。それと引き換えに人間離れした身体能力を与えられた。
Right. Okay. So she didn't get the technique, but she got superhuman
私
abilities.
にはなかった才能。
決着ってことでいいの？
なんで家を出たの？
ああ？言わなくてもわかんだろ。お前だって高専来たじゃねえか。
私は呪術師なんてなりたくなかった。
Oh, May.
あんたのせいよ。あんたが頑張るから私も頑張らざるを得なかった。努力も痛いのも怖いのももううんざり。
Oh, that's why she resents her.
何がいけないのよ。適当に雑用こなして適当に生きればよかったじゃない。
Because it's not what Maki wanted.
一緒に落ちぶれた。
Oh, I want to cry. This is so tragic. What she wanted was for them to be together. And she resents her because it's not what Maki wanted.
私は私を嫌いになってた。それだけだよ。
Maki aspired for something more. These poor girls have been pitted against each other because of the toxicity of their clan.
絶対だよ。しつけえな。
Oh my god, I'm getting like...
置いてかない
Phew.
でよ。当たり前だ。姉妹だぞ。
嘘つき。大嫌い。
She doesn't hate her. She doesn't. I think it's hard to hate your sister. I think there's a bit of resentment because she didn't get to live a normal life and she feels pressured into becoming a jujutsu sorcerer, but I don't think she hates her. I think she thinks she does, but that's not the case. They're still sisters.
お腹減ったな。確か冷蔵庫に昼に残した枝豆が。
Well, not anymore.
ごめん。もう少し申し訳なさそうにしてくださいよ。
I was gonna say none of them look like they care.
いや、さすがに深夜のカップラーメンは。これならどう？西宮流カップラーメンシーフードアレンジ。1、鷹の爪をハサミでチョキチョキカップラーメンシーフードへ。2、牛乳は容器の半分くらい。3、
I guess gives it a creamier taste.
牛乳の分お湯はグツグツのやつ。
うまい。
Oh, she's interested now.
こんなに美味しいならこっちを食べればよかったのに。いや、さすがに深夜のカップラーメンは翌日に響く。うんうん。
That was such a good episode. There was so much to unpack there in terms of the clan's expectations, but also Mei and Maki's relationship dynamic. The fact that they have been pitted against each other because Maki didn't want to accept the limitations enforced upon her by her clan because she's a woman. So by Maki walking away, Mei didn't have any other choice. She's constantly had to listen to people talking about them as being ill omens, this almost envy that Maki can't see curses because it doesn't give her the same fear, but also this recognition that Maki has always had a talent that she's lacked. So we know that with the Heavenly Pact, Maki didn't get the technique or the cursed energy, but she is able to have supernatural strength. Whereas Mei, who has the technique, is limited by the fact that she can only create sort of one physical item a day because of the amount of energy that has to go into using it, because it doesn't just disappear, it remains like this manifestation. So she sees herself as weaker in comparison to Maki because she has these limitations that she can't just continue to fight the same way that Maki can. Because I'm pretty sure it said that Mei doesn't have much curse energy. She has the technique, but her curse energy was a lot lower than normal. So then that coupled with the fact that she has this technique that allows her to make physical things out of thin air, even the smallest item uses up all the curse energy that she has and depletes it massively, so she can't go beyond making, in this case, a single bullet, which is why they were saying that she fills up the revolver. So she sees herself, I think, as lesser than Maki because Maki has something that she doesn't, that she is somewhat envious of Maki's talent. I think that's why she constantly tries to, like, sell Maki short by saying she's weak or she's not someone to take seriously, because it's almost her way of bolstering her own sense of confidence. But we have Nobara essentially saying, I don't care about this men versus women debate, because again, she's seen what Itadori has gone through and the suffering he's been put through, that there's this expectation that he shouldn't live because he's a vessel. They just completely ignore the fact that he is a person. There's these unrealistic expectations that have been put on Itadori. So she is also showing the other side of things. She's saying that what Mei and Maki have to go through is horrendous, but it's not limited to just them. There is also another side to things. So I do like that we kind of delved into how the suffering isn't just related to gender, but is related in general to the society that they're within. That someone like Itadori cannot be allowed to truly be himself. He's constantly walking under the threat of being eliminated because of him becoming a vessel, and it was not something he intended. He did it to save his friends, and now he's being mistreated for it. And Nobara's correct, and it's similar to Panda's conversation with Mekamara, that essentially what you've gone through may be shit, but it doesn't give you a pass to not be criticized if you do shitty things. But I do love that we got more context into Mei and Maki's relationship, why they are divided, because there was this idea that they would always be together. And Mei resents Maki for pursuing her dreams, pursuing her future, because as a result, she felt that pressure to follow and to prove something for herself as well, that she couldn't just remain there. But I think based on the clan leader, he essentially was saying that Mei would also suffer because of Maki's decision. And even though Maki is saying that Mei has nothing to do with it, I think Mei was very much met with this idea that she can either leave and have a chance to be independent and prove herself and not be limited by the clan's expectations, or she can stay and constantly be berated and looked down on because she's a woman. And you can understand why she's frustrated. She just wants a normal life. She doesn't want to fight people. She has no interest in being a warrior. You know, she's scared of the cursed spirits that she can see. You know, as a child, she's terrified of them, and she's almost envious of Maki's lack of fear, but that's because Maki can't see them. But she's almost felt like she's been forced into this life that she never wanted for herself. And she's saying to Maki, why couldn't you have just stayed at the bottom with me? Why couldn't we have just been together? You are the one that separated us. Your desire and aspiration is what's caused us to be distant and divided. Why we're no longer sisters holding on to each other and saying that we'll never be apart. You are the reason for that. But I don't think it's going to always be that case. I feel like there's going to be something that brings them together, maybe a moment of danger that makes May realize that Maki isn't the enemy and that she doesn't hate her, that that's her sister, and they are bonded and connected in a way that people don't always understand. You know, they're twins, they're seen as these ill omens. So not only are they berated for being women and seen as inferior and lesser than, but the fact that they're twins only makes it 10 times worse, that they're constantly referred to as these figures of misfortune. And it would grate on you growing up in that environment. And I don't blame Maki for wanting to escape from it, from not wanting to be limited by your clan's idea of a woman's role, that she aspired for something more, to be the leader of this clan one day and to change its perception of women, to change its perception of what strength is, that she can prove them all wrong. But it's just tragic that May, as a result, also gets sucked into that, and it's not the life she wanted. It's not what she chose for herself. She was kind of dragged into it. I think what I loved most is the fact that I think Maki's desire to become the leader of the clan isn't just for her sake, isn't just to prove something. It's also for May. I think she wants to create a clan where women are appreciated, where they're not looked down on as being lesser. That she wants to create a better, more fair and equal environment, that she can give May a better life. I think likely she feels maybe guilt and upset that now she knows May only became a sorcerer because of her. She feels that she's forced her into this, that there's going to be maybe a weight that she has to carry with that knowledge. But I hope something brings them together again, that they find a moment of connection. But I genuinely do think Maki isn't just doing this for herself, but it's also for May. It's for other girls being born into this clan too, that are not constantly limited and restricted based on their gender. I did love seeing Nabara essentially say that she loves herself because she is strong and because she is beautiful, that one doesn't negate the other, that she can be proud of both, that both characteristics are what make her her. And she's essentially saying that, you know, there's no way to justify May's bad behavior because, again, Maki had the same upbringing, but Maki acts a lot differently. She doesn't mistreat people. And that's what she's essentially saying, is that, you know, just because you've gone through something horrific doesn't mean that you get to be cruel to others. There's no free pass with it. You know, this idea that Nabara can't understand it because she's friends with Itadori, who's a curse, is just so funny, because Nabara loves herself and is unapologetic for all the parts of her personality. But just because she's friends with Itadori doesn't mean she hasn't felt the same social expectations and pressures, but she has learned to love herself and to not allow her past to define her or to make excuses for her behavior. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye.